Hey, welcome back to the Eye of Stone podcast for another franchise Hump Day. We are going to be doing some horror movies for the remainder of this month and maybe into November because I think this is the third Wednesday of the month. So we've already missed 2 Wednesdays for potential horror movies. So we might carry over into November a little bit. We'll see what happens. But we figured we'd start with uh, definitely a standout in the horror franchise, especially within the past 15, 20 years, Saw. And it was a game changer in a lot of ways and also was never meant to be more than just the one movie. So it's impressive that it turned into the franchise that it did, where they are 10 movies in now. And yeah, so being tackling that. I'm going to go ahead and post our link for the live, Dima.
Sounds
And then
good.
we'll get jumping into this. We may have some other people jumping on as well. That's kind of up in the air. So, how's your day been, Dima?
Not bad. Nice and easy.
Were you off today?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
I got off at 3.
Oh, nice. First shifter.
Yes.
Do you prefer first shift there?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. What's your favorite shift?
Second.
You're just the second shift kind of guy.
And that I am.
I used to be. And honestly, it was like fighting my natural being to be anything else but a second shifter.
Yeah.
It just works with my natural sleep schedule
Yeah.
and like when I like to be out doing things.
Right.
Like you go to a grocery store around noon or 1 o'clock on a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a whole other experience compared to like, oh, I got off work at 4 and now I gotta go to the grocery and it's just like
Right.
packed.
Yeah.
It's
It sucks.
yeah, and you don't get home until like 8 p.m. because you were at the grocery for 2.5 hours. And
By
yeah,
that point, you have to get ready for work the next day.
yeah, there's a lot of things about it I definitely miss. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But that's awkward. Yeah, our live stream is like behind us in real time,
That it is.
so it's always confusing. All right, go ahead and share this. I wish there was an easier way to do this, like through StreamYard.
Oh, yeah.
Like just it connects to all of our social media and just like posts for us.
Right. One post for all movies.
Maybe if we paid, it would do that. We have to pay, Dima.
Never.
You want to? Well, I can do it. I got it. I was gonna say I think Jordan's wanting the link to watch, so go ahead and send that to him.
Tell them to just go on YouTube.
Oh, hey, we can shoot the shit really quick about the latest Penguin episode.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So we are going to talk spoilers about episode 4 of the Penguin. So just fair warning, spoiler alert.
Yeah, that actually answered a few theories that I had when we talked about it last week, and I realized I was wrong, but I was kind of correct at the same time.
Okay, elaborate on that.
So I didn't expect him or her to find out that Oz killed Alberto then. And then
yes, that was
I didn't expect him or her to find out that he played her right then. So I thought she was going to get revenge for him leaving her to die.
Yeah, it was like a lot unfolded really quick.
Yeah. So, but I was correct in the sense that she's going to be going after him. And then it was really cool to see like how she ended up in Arkham, how she was framed by her dad. And then her first like 6 months or so in Arkham and how that unfolded.
Yeah. Her father and his pull through, I mean, you can assume the city at this point.
Yeah.
Just any entity. It's just wild how far the reach is. Like,
yes.
they were just giving her electric shock therapy for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
And that answered for me how she got the way she is now.
Yeah.
Because the episode shows her obviously flashback to when Penguin is her driver.
Yes.
Which that was cool to see their dynamic, how well they got along.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like a normal person.
Yeah.
But she's like the direct product of her father being the corrupt person that he is, and not really the best dad. And because at the end of the day, like a good villain, he's just looking out for himself.
Yeah.
And as soon as she starts to suspect that he may have killed her mom, he's just like, nut house.
Right.
Like just take her away.
Kill all credibility.
Yeah, and it was wild how they let her think after 6 months, I think it was, she'd have this court date, and then they were like, oh yeah, she's not fit to stand trial. So it's like they purposefully fried her brain so she would be deemed unfit to defend herself in court.
Yep.
And then she was there for 5 years or 10 years? 10, okay.
Well, they say 10. The way I see it though is it's like just under 10, a little under 10.
Yeah, which
she got arrested at his birthday party, and then at the end she's like, we were all here. Last time we were all together was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
At my father's birthday party.
Yeah. It was such a good episode. I do have a gripe though.
Okay.
They did something I keep saying I've been scared of that they weren't doing, and that is not giving us a lot of Penguin. So like everything we got out of that episode will definitely be important at some point.
Yeah.
I have no doubt of that, but it just sucked that other than being her driver early on, he's not really a big part of this episode.
No.
So we were right because we figured this would be a very Sophia episode. Yeah. Just like the last episode, it just felt like, okay, we're going to get these episodes where we get some background on these other characters. Because I think the Vic episode, that was like a better blend of we're getting the story, but Penguin is still like the forefront of the narrative. And this episode was just like...
Well, I don't think they could really implicate him in this episode with where they added it in. If they did it like an episode or two prior, then they could have added him in more.
Yeah.
But at this point, he left her to die, so you wouldn't be able to have him in there without taking away from telling her story, and then like rushing both stories and both aspects of that, and not getting the full picture that they're wanting to give.
Yeah, I just find myself conflicted because it's almost like she should just have her own mini series. Like
she should, absolutely.
Yeah, because you could argue that with what they show us in that episode, you could build off of that into a whole series.
Yes.
Or you could cut it down to be segments in an episode about the Penguin still.
Yes.
And we would still get the same information.
That's true.
So we didn't need a whole episode showing her in Arkham. Was it awesome? Yes. Was it well written? Fuck yeah. Like the story is crazy good. So my only gripe is they did the thing I didn't want them to do.
Yeah.
That's my, and it just is what it is. And I'm sure next week's episode we'll get back to the Penguin, but
that it will.
And to be fair, also, I think it works narratively when you set up our main character doing something crazy. Like, episode 3 had a huge cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
This one picks up right on that cliffhanger. Yes. But then they give us a cliffhanger off the cliffhanger, which is brilliant. And so we're not actually going to get an answer to the original cliffhanger until maybe 2 weeks later if this current episode that's coming this Sunday is going to pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I feel like this upcoming episode is going to explain like everything all at once. And
we have somebody in our live chat.
Yes, we do. Incredulous.
We have a fan. Fan, you would be more than welcome to jump on the stream if you'd like to talk to us in person via camera and
Yes.
not a black screen. Mm. So is he working right now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I don't look at his schedule unless it benefits me.
Same.
So yeah, overall a great episode. Very excited for the next week's.
The ending was phenomenal.
Yeah, I was gonna say the ending. That's the thing. These episodes all have a really strong ending.
Yes.
So
Oh no, he's home.
he just doesn't like us. Oh, if we were talking about Fully Ado, oh yeah, he'd be on here. But we did that last week. I did want to point out the chick that isn't in handcuffs in
Yeah, Arkham.
yeah, in the I don't know what you'd call that, the cafeteria, I guess. Yeah. Whoever that actress is, that was freaking terrifying.
Yes.
She needs to be in a horror movie. Like the way she was looking at Sophia and just like walking over to her all like it almost looked like what's that called? Like it's kind of like The Grudge where it's like I'm trying to think of the term. It's like motion is almost like
staggered.
Yeah, there's a term
or not
for that.
staggered. That's bad.
But that kind of I can't remember what it's called. But
almost like glitchy.
Yeah, it's just real. I can't remember the term for it. But she kind of almost had that look, like she was walking in her own time. Like I don't know how to describe it, but
it's
creepy.
Well, she played that. There's no other way to word this other than how I'm about to word. At least none that I can think of right now. She played the psycho very well. Like she was just batshit crazy, and she played to that phenomenal.
Yeah, which the person in the cell next to her, I can't remember her name. The one that she ends up slamming her head on the table.
Her only friend.
Yeah, I mean, she did a good job too.
Oh yeah, she did.
Like when I first heard her voice and they showed her peeking through the hole, I was like, "Is this gonna be Harley Quinn?" Because she had that real high pitched, friendly voice, but then she wasn't.
So. I didn't think. I didn't have that thought. I just thought it was like some other batshit person. I don't see them bringing Harley Quinn into this world until at the earliest, maybe the second movie, if they focus on the Joker. But even then, I don't see them bringing her into this world.
See, I would agree with you. The only problem is there's some Easter eggs in this episode that I guess we can talk about really quick. If you look at newspapers in the flashbacks with Sophia that are like on the table and stuff, there's things talking about a chemical plant and it getting shut down or something like that.
Okay.
And I was like, so Ace Chemical got shut down after Joker. So I'm kind of connecting a dot here, but I'm like, okay, so that was 10 years ago. So I'm like, was Joker a thing 10 years prior to Batman? Well, 8 years because we were on year 2 of Batman, but because it's already established Joker ran into Batman before the first Batman movie. Like he was already established as the Joker.
Yes.
He had his run in with Batman, got put in Arkham. It doesn't take long, at least in the comics.
Oh shit! Okay.
For Harleen Quinzel to get this infatuation with Joker and get corrupted by him. So
yeah, you're right.
So I'm sitting here thinking like it is a possibility she could have already have had her breakdown.
Yeah, that's
and got
true.
thrown in Arkham with the rest.
I keep forgetting that I forgot 10-year difference. Okay, so yeah, there is a chance.
There is a chance. And it's easy
to
forget the Joker's even established like that because that scene we watched isn't even a part of the movie. It's a deleted scene. So
yeah, right.
Canon to what we saw in cinemas, we get a hint that maybe it's the Joker. And like Jordan said on our podcast, he thought it was Two-Face. You know, like he didn't know it was supposed to be the Joker. So, that was a common thing. A lot of people were kind of confused by that scene. So,
which it's very possible it could have been Two-Face as well.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, we're gonna go ahead. Did you have anything else you wanted to add to the episode?
I mean, the ending, seeing her brutally kill the lady that was obsessed with her because she went crazy because of all the fucking getting shocked in the brain and everything else, and she snapped.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing her do that, I mean, to me, I took it as like that was um um
Sorry, we're referencing. I'll read that here. I'll highlight this. Keep talking, Nima.
but I kind of saw that as like she thought her dad planted her in there, so she was finally snapping from what her dad has done to her for the past, at that point, 6 months.
Yeah,
um
he inadvertently he
yes.
made her into what she was being accused of being
Yeah.
already.
Yes, exactly. So it was really cool to see that. I mean, the ending in itself, just seeing all the bodies, like everybody was like dead except for the one. At least that's kind of how I took it. Everybody was dead except for, um, I think it was her uncle, and she woke him up and said, "Get dressed, let's go." And then it
Yeah,
ended. Like I just thought it was great seeing all of that. The last scene of her killing the girl in Arkham, and then like her
oh,
setting that up and playing the
she
little kid to.
she efficiently made sure that she's the one running the show now.
Yes. Yes.
Which is why I'm
Absolutely.
really excited for this next episode because she is out to get Penguin.
Absolutely.
So he's either got to align himself with the triads or somehow convince Maroney's that the whole time he was trying to work the Falcones for them.
Yeah.
Because the end of episode 3, the Maroney's are like, "Oh, you're trying to fuck us over."
Yeah.
So I'm like, the triads are the only thing he might be able to still swindle.
Well, I
I
almost
don't know.
could see. Oh man, what's her name? Sophia joining the Maronis. Like, hey, the enemy of my enemy kind of deal. Like, let's fucking take him out.
Possibly.
Join
Yeah.
forces.
She could literally showcase that she just took out the whole house.
Yeah.
All the people running the show. So,
or maybe
including her dad's brother, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, really, that's all though. That's all I really had to say about it.
All right. Well, we had a fan comment. We're going to go ahead and address that real quick. Hey guys, we live in an amazing time for film, with modern masterpieces such as Folie à Deux, Beau's Afraid, and John Wick. Are you guys excited about anything new on the horizon? Thanks. Well, Incredulous Account, we thank you for your comment and for watching. And to answer your question, yes, there's a lot that I'm actually looking forward to. To start off, I'm looking forward to talking about Saw. So, Dima, out of 5 stones, Saw 1.
4.
I give it 4.5.
I think what's taken away, and I know it shouldn't, is, well, you know what? It's not really taken away, like, especially knowing the background of like what they did with it. I felt like, which I don't really expect the best script ever, but I feel like there's parts of the script that were just forced. But at the same time, like, I mean, this movie was it's the first time I've seen this movie, which is weird because
Wait. You had never seen the first one?
No, I don't.
did
Not
not
that
know
I can
that.
recall.
Dude,
If I had
this
to say
keeps
years.
happening where I'm just like, oh, let's watch this, thinking like it's a classic and you've probably seen it a million times.
Yeah, no.
And then you don't say anything, and then you tell me on here, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
But I mean,
like, I didn't know you had never seen the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah,
That blew my mind. I was like, what? I thought everyone had seen those.
Nope. I was one of the few.
Yep, you and Jordan.
Yeah. But I thought, like, especially knowing the history where they filmed that entire movie in one scene, or not one scene, I'm sorry, in one room. And it was 2 guys in film school who didn't have a budget, and they were just wanting to put this story out there. I think it was like for their class, but it turned out to be an absolute banger, and then turned into over $1 billion franchise as of right now. So it's just really cool to see like what they did and stuff. So I'm already going to change that to a 4.5.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's my big thing, because I think overall, if I didn't know some background stuff, I would just give it a 4.
Yeah.
But knowing the background stuff, that extra half gets thrown in there because it just makes it more impressive. Like knowing James Wan and Leigh Whannell were both students in film school, had no budget, came up with this premise of like, okay, how can we make a suspense horror thriller
Mhm.
and just utilize one room.
Yeah.
And then they built off of that. And then they get people like Danny Glover in the movie. And it's just like, huh? Which I'm really curious how that unfolded.
Yes.
I know Danny Glover, especially in that point of his career, wasn't really doing like he was doing more B-roll type stuff,
Mhm.
but he still is just like I don't know. He's one of those actors for me. I've always liked him in anything I see him in.
Yeah.
So, and then him playing Detective Tab, like I don't know, he's just that. It kind of reminds me of the detectives in Seven.
Yeah.
You know, like he's just driven to find who's behind the jigsaw killings. Like
So
he's
much
just,
he goes crazy.
yeah, that's the thing. Like they really show that.
I mean,
You know,
there's
implication
obviously
of
the death of his partner played a big role into that, but still.
yeah. So okay, let's try to like kind of jump through this movie
Yes.
by the story. So the beginning of the film is fucking brilliant because just like the ending, there's something shown to us and we don't realize it until the end that could have made everything different. And that is that the dude wakes up in the tub with the key to unlock their locks.
Yes.
And if he had just observed his surroundings and seen it with the blue, it's literally lit up with a blue light floating in the water. He would have maybe have realized like, okay, I need to like move slowly and try to get that key.
Yes.
But no, he just freaks the fuck out and pulls the plug on the tub and key goes down the drain.
Yep.
So it's crazy that the whole movie could have just been totally different if. Yeah. And my other thing is, and yes, we're talking spoilers in this movie in case you haven't figured that out. So with John being in the room the whole time, the jigsaw killer.
Yes.
If they had unlocked the locks, would he have just laid there and played dead until they left? Or would he have like done something to change? Like, you know, I feel like he's always got a plan.
Yeah, I feel
So
like
I'm
he
kind of
definitely had
wondering
something on him where he would have just killed them right then and there.
Yeah, yeah, but he doesn't kill. That's the tricky thing with him.
I'm sure there were booby traps or something. Like there would have had to have been something to where like these guys are not getting out that easily for him.
He just electrocutes them endlessly.
Yeah, like
yeah, I don't know. I love that too. Like the whole time. I actually can't remember the guy's name because I didn't really care. The guy that we think is Jigsaw at first.
Zeb.
Is that his name? I don't know.
Yep, Zep. Zep Hindle.
Okay. Like in the movie, that's the character's name.
Yes. Well, he goes by Zeb. That's how. Oh my god, that's how he is casted.
Oh, we have a question from Incredibles account. Which one of Saul's perverse puzzles is your favorite? Okay, so
I can't say right now. There's too many to.
This is a deep pull because we see a lot of different things in this film, but it's actually the guy that wakes up in the room with the razor barbed wire surrounding him. And he has to literally go through it to escape and live. And if he doesn't, I think the room's filling with gas. Or like, so he has to get out. And if he doesn't, he's going to die from poison, I think.
Yeah. I think it was the head trap. For this movie specifically, I think it was the head trap.
No. So this is in the montage where they show Danny Glover going to the other, like, previous.
Yeah. Correct. For mine.
Oh, for your okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be the head trap.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's just like an easy go-to because it's just such a monstrous construction. Like,
yes.
But yeah, I don't know. Like that's why I say I'm gonna do a little deep pull here because when they were showing how like other people had died, that one to me was just like almost impossible to survive. Because they even show, which I love how they film like certain scenes to make you feel like almost uncomfortable and like anxious. Like they speed it up and the person's just going
Yeah.
and they show that guy like trying to get out of the cage and he's just running into the barbed wire and he's getting caught and snagged in it and
like that's
eventually
so
just
fucking
bled
painful.
out from
Yeah.
But yeah, to me it just seemed like Jigsaw really didn't want that guy to live. Like,
Dude, not even a little bit.
because at least with like the head contraption,
Mm-hmm.
there is something you can do about it.
Yes.
That one, and maybe if we knew a little bit more, maybe we would know how exactly he could have gotten out of that. But like the way it was filmed, there was just like this ominous green light in the room, and it was dark. It just looked like he was trapped in a cage, surrounded by razor barbed wire,
Mm-hmm.
and if he tried to move, he's gonna bleed out. Like
Right.
that, I don't know. So,
Well, I expected one of them to be Jigsaw, and it wasn't the guy at the
wait, in the bathroom?
yeah, and it
Hmm.
wasn't either one of them. But I was like, because I was the whole time, and I say that because I was thinking both of these guys, well, more the doctors than the other one, but the other one gave me like a little like psycho vibes.
Mm-hmm.
But the doctor was just highly intelligent, and I'm like, this dude is bullshitting
Yeah,
the entire
Dr.
time.
Gordon.
And I felt like he could be smart enough to make all those traps and shit.
I remember the first time my dad and I watched that together, and we just thought that was the coolest movie ever. Like the ending was just game changing. To have the killer in the room the whole time and you don't know it because you think they're dead. Just such a twist. But I remember the whole time, I felt like my dad and I are both leaning towards, because we both felt like one of them is not who they say.
Yes.
And I think we were both leaning towards Dr. Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, again, like he has that, it's almost like American Psycho, like that Patrick Bateman. Like it's like you're presented to me in too clean of a fashion. Like, oh, I'm a family man. I'm this prestigious surgeon.
Right.
I don't do anything wrong. I'm so clean. I cheated on my wife and I don't want to admit it. You know, like it's just, I don't know. And it kind of rubs you the wrong way. And it makes you think like there's gotta be something with this guy. And I feel like Adam literally is us at some points, you know, like wondering if like he's a part of it or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, just the whole premise starting with that room and having them two, and like if you hadn't seen these movies before, because you've seen other Saw movies, like this is just a fresh jump into this world, and you're just like, whoa, this is totally different. You know, it's unique. Not anything really like it either.
There's not. And the issue with that, I don't really want to say issue, but I mean, it's ingenious. Like, it's absolutely very, very intelligent from the start with James Wan and what they created.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even mimic this without their blessing. Otherwise, you're risking a huge lawsuit. And it's just something that it's a one-time thing that nobody will ever be able to just recreate in their own way, at least as from what I can picture and what I would at least try to create. I couldn't do it without mimicking how they did it, and that's ingenious to me. Like that, the intelligent there was just, they saw an opportunity and they went all in. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Well, what's cool with this first one is you kind of feel like it's kind of like Batman, where you're 2 years in. We feel like we're kind of early into Jigsaw's reign as this mastermind behind people effectively offing themselves. You know, it's like either you do this fucked up shit and you live, or you die. Like you're letting yourself die.
Yeah.
And we're kind of in the early stages, and we see through that montage like the previous crime scenes, and it's kind of like an evolution. Like the one, he's just leaving somebody in a cage.
Right.
The next one, the one detective points out there's a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Says, somebody wanted a front row seat. And then literally in this one, he has a front row seat in the fucking
He's
room
in the room.
for the whole thing. So it's kind of cool, like how he gets more involved with each
Right.
one.
Yes.
And, you know, we have to pretend the other movies don't exist. But if we do pretend they exist for a second, it evolves even more so because then he starts implementing people more than he does in this one, you know, where like you think somebody's one thing and they're not. They're actually behind this. But then they're being duped by this. And it's crazy how he's able
so
to
intertwined.
make this really complex story, essentially. Like he's literally making a game. It honestly is like a fucked up Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Like he is literally writing this campaign for real life people to play out. And it's like every scenario, you got to do this thing or you die.
Right.
Like Zep, like we think he's behind everything.
Yeah.
But then we find out he's got poison in his system and he has to do everything he's been told to do or he's got to die.
Right. So it's either kill or die.
So it's not even like he wants to work with John. He has no fucking choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. So we've been asked our thoughts on John's selection process.
I thought it was very intelligent.
Yes.
Because it was all, I mean, especially like when you find out it's John. He was always around and he heard every little thing. And you don't think about that or you don't realize that, at least I didn't, until the very end. And so I thought him being able to use, you know, him dying pretty much to be where he was at because of that in the hospital and having those people around him. I thought that was very ingenious. Yes, part of it is you're using the people that are pretty accessible to yourself and that you're around constantly. But at the same time, like you said a little bit ago, with him just starting out, at least that's how it feels for the most part. He's doing it very intelligently because he's using every single person that he's been watching and listening to their conversations and stuff like that. So it makes it that much more creepy for the characters themselves because they're trying to think of every single person that they've had contact with who they think it might be. And then it turns out it's some dude dying in the bed.
Yeah. Well, I also like this idea that John is essentially like a spider and he builds a web to trap one thing. So in this, he traps Dr. Gordon.
Right.
But then it's like, well, if you just happen to be documenting what Gordon is doing, because this crazy cop hired you, then you also are going to fall into my web, and I'm going to have to do something about that.
Yep.
So it's almost like you can just kind of stumble upon being a part of Jigsaw's game.
Yeah. Just by knowing the wrong person.
And then he immediately knows how to implement you into. It's like he plans for that. Again, he plans ahead.
Yeah. It shows his intelligence. Like this dude's dying, but he's still very smart. And I'm pretty sure it's a brain tumor, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
Which usually I feel like most people start to lose their minds a little bit, but he's still very sharp. Like you can tell with the way he stumbled out of the bathroom at the end, like he's hurting, but he's smart.
Yeah.
His IQ is there. So
you kind of talked about something I want to really examine because it's one of those scenes where it happens in a flash, but if you really examine it, there's a lot of seeds being planted. Or foreshadowing could be a better term for it too. So when Dr. Gordon is showing the resident nurses or whatever the scans of John's brain, and he's laying on that bed, the first thing that I noticed when I'm watching this again is how he looks dead laying there, right? Like he's motionless. You don't even see him breathing.
Yeah.
Well, that's showing us how good it's almost like he's been practicing
playing
dead.
I didn't even think about that.
So
Holy shit.
so there's that. Then, if you look on the table next to his bed, there is a drawing of the head contraption.
Oh shit! I never saw that.
But you might think, well, why would they throw that in there? Well, if
Yeah.
you look in his hands, he's holding a pen. Now,
I
if you
didn't
think,
notice that at all.
oh yeah, well, if you think about the little montage where it shows how they led to thinking Dr. Gordon was the suspect,
Mm-hmm.
what did they find at the crime scene? Dr. Gordon's pen.
Yeah, yeah,
So they're showing you how easy it was for John to obtain one of the doctor's pens. He's holding it in his hand, and with that pen, he drew the contraption that that girl had on her head
yeah.
at that crime scene. So in that scene, you're getting all these little things, and it's just like that is such well thought out storytelling. I don't know. It's brilliant. Like it's just a small little scene, you know, like I said, you can watch it, not think anything of it.
Right.
But him being motionless made me literally rewatch that scene because I was like, wow, he looks like he's not even breathing.
Right.
And
Yeah,
then
I
I
should
started,
have done that
and then I
because
was
I
like,
was
wait,
watching all the nurses and their faces,
yeah,
and
I'm
that's
like,
why
wait,
I thought it was Zeb at first. What is
yeah,
that?
well, and that's why I was like, wait, why is he holding a pen if he's asleep?
Yeah.
And then I'm like looking around the room, it's like, oh, he was drawing a picture, and I'm like, oh, that's that freaking head
Yeah.
contraption. And then I'm just sitting there thinking, like, oh my god, that pen was at the crime scene
Yeah.
where the chick had the head. I was like, what the fuck? And then I just realized, like, oh, this scene is literally just giving you a bunch of little Easter eggs and hints and
Right.
foreshadowing. So, but not only that, it also shows you that he was a direct patient of Dr. Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh
it
shit,
just,
you're right.
you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to screen share that? Can you do that?
Oh, fuck, I don't know how to do that.
I'll
Right.
look it up real quick.
Is it present?
Yeah, but you gotta like set up the screen. Well, maybe you won't have to deal with it.
Share screen.
All right, I got it, Dima. If you can't get it, oh, you got it. Yeah, there you go. Nice.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, went too far in. But yeah, there's the head there, pin there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I completely missed that.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And again, he looks dead.
He does. Yes.
Like it's not normal sleeping. He looks like he's deceased. No. So yeah, I just thought that scene was really cool. And of course, that naturally made me wonder how many scenes I could literally pause and break down like that.
I feel like almost every scene.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's, a ton. Like,
yeah.
One could say, again, the hole in the wall at that crime scene where she says, like, oh, somebody wanted a first row seat. That could be foreshadowing to, oh, you're going to find out the dude's literally in the fucking room. So I'm sure there's a lot of stuff like that. Now, what do you think about the pig head that he wears when abducting people?
Dude, that was... I wasn't expecting that. Like, because I saw him get out of the car in the garage when they had showed that, and I was like, what the fuck is this dude wearing? Well, and then...
not only that, but why?
Oh, yeah, like, you're planning to kill these people anyway, for the most part. So unless if you're doing it to like scare them even more because he's a sadist and he's absolutely getting off to their fear. It was just creepy. And the way he crawled out, I was like, ew, like, what are you doing? Just fucking crouch like a normal person. And then like when Adam opens that closet after he hears people, I think it was a closet. I thought that was the red room again. And I wasn't expecting the pig to be right there, and he jumped out, and I was like, oh shit. So it really played into that creepy vibe. Like it was unnecessary, so it made it even creepier. And then the lighting that they used for it didn't help the situation, or it did help in a way, help their situation, make it even more weird. But it was just a very interesting go-to for that choice.
Yeah, well, I was kind of wondering if because the DVD commentary for this,
Hmm.
you find out that James Wan and Linnell, the two writers for this movie,
Yeah.
um, a lot of the scenes that were like horror scenes
Hmm.
were inspired from dreams they both had as kids. So I
Oh
was
shit.
so I was almost like, I wonder if one of the two had this thing with somebody wearing a pig head,
That
and
would make sense.
they just thought that would add a really uncomfortable feeling to the abduction scenes. Like, I just wear this mask for,
Yeah, I mean,
because if you think about it, the people getting abducted don't really remember that, so it's only for us, the viewer.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, for us, yeah, it's scary. Like when Gordon gets out of his car
Hmm.
and you see the back door open, and then
Yeah,
you see the person crawling on all fours with the pig mask. It's just like, ugh, like what the fuck?
right.
So it definitely works. It's freaky, but yeah, I don't know. And it's just like the doll. James Wan
Yeah.
built that doll.
Yeah, that's
So
impressive because that doll in itself is just uncomfortable. Like it's not scary, it's uncomfortable. Would I find it scary if I walk out of my bedroom or any room in my house when it's late as shit and the lights are off and I just hear that laughing in a chair? 100%.
yeah, when
But
it comes pedaling in the room for
yeah,
the
like
girl that
that's
has the,
oh god.
yeah, freaky, man, freaky.
Oh,
But
but
it's crazy that, again, no budget.
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the agreement with production was like there was no payment up front for him.
Hmm.
And they were like, whatever this does, you'll get a percentage of that. And he agreed to that. So like
That's crazy.
it was a total gamble on his head.
Yeah.
And dude, what's really crazy is the opening weekend is when they greenlit Saw 2. The
Oh,
opening
wow.
weekend. That's how big the opening was.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you think about it, the movie has no budget, so all it takes is a handful of people wanting to go
Yeah,
see this,
that's
and
fair.
word of mouth.
Yeah,
Like picture you and I, we like to go on release nights, which is
yeah,
Thursday, early release. So by Saturday, word of mouth, I mean, you'd have fucking
yeah,
theaters
that's true.
packed.
That's very true.
So yeah, but it's just crazy. Opening weekend, we go from a movie with no budget, and it was a total gamble, to, oh, we're capitalizing on
Yeah,
this.
as they
So
should have.
yeah,
100%.
yeah. And have you seen the second one?
I can't remember which ones I saw. I'm now questioning. I'm pretty sure Jigsaw's involved in this world, right? Like that's the same
Yeah.
universe.
So
I feel like it was one of the
spoiler,
Jigsaws I saw.
big spoiler. Mute this for like 10 seconds. Jigsaw dies in the third one.
Gotcha.
So have you seen that?
No, I can't remember. It's been so long now. I remember
Okay,
like glimpses where it's like cold and then it's sunny and these people are dying.
but then they find a way for him to come back.
Gotcha. Of course they did.
So like, it's really not a spoiler because you never believe he's dead. They've kind
Okay.
of made it a thing in this franchise.
Okay.
And then like Saw X, which just came out, the 10th movie,
Yeah.
he's back. But then if you read the synopsis, it's because this is set between Saw 1 and Saw 2.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so
See, I kind of take it as like, yeah, Kramer is Saul or Jigsaw. Um, but I also take it as like, really anybody can be.
that's what's awesome about this. There's a common thing with the Joker where the Joker is an idea,
Yeah.
not just a person.
Yeah.
And I feel like Jigsaw is the same way. Like some of the movies, he has, somebody who he's essentially taken under his wing
Hmm.
to show them
Yeah.
like what he's wanting to achieve and how to go about it. And yeah, so definitely Jigsaw, he is the first one, but you definitely
It's
feel
an
like he
idea.
won't be the last.
Yeah.
Like he has started this thing that there's always going to be somebody out there ready to take the mantle.
Absolutely.
Because if you think about it, in a really fucked up, twisted way, he's an anti hero. If you
Okay.
really think about it, like
Not the word I'd describe him as.
I, he's got some people, especially in the other movies, that do some
Okay.
really
So
terrible
I need
things,
to keep
like
watching more.
really terrible things,
Okay.
and he is making them reflect on what they do.
Dude, that's crazy.
And some people lose like body parts and shit.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna come out of this, but you're gonna be missing fingers or eyes, or like you're gonna pay for what you've done.
Dude, that's okay. That makes more sense. Definitely like vigilante anti-hero type shit
Like
to
I
the
said, it's a really
extreme.
fucked up, twisted
Yeah,
way of being one, but
absolutely.
it's kind of hard to argue if you really break, especially the first three movies. If you take all of his victims and the things
Yeah.
they've done, more so fucked up than not. Like yeah, cheating on your wife is a terrible thing.
Yeah. But not terrible enough to lose your foot over by yourself, like by your own hands.
Yeah, correct.
Like,
But if you think about it, he does deserve whatever because he tried to poison the other dude with the
yeah.
cigarette. Remember that? So it's like
Thought about that.
the rest of it was like trying to fool the camera.
Right.
But for an instant, he was like, "Oh my god, I actually have to kill this guy."
Yeah. Yeah. He dipped in blood.
Yeah, and then it's like he changed his mind, but he had that mentality at
Yeah.
one point in this movie, and it just kind of makes you think, like, okay, this guy, yeah, I don't know. But it's also hard to say because when you're put in a survival mode,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's what's hard is like at the end of the day, like I mean, us humans, if we're put in that situation, we are going to go to go into survival. Like, I don't know. I feel like we're going to go back to like our ancestors' mentality and just like kill or be killed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't even fault him for that because I 100% probably would do the same thing in that situation. Like if like
Yeah,
this psychopath has kidnapped us both, like it's one of those situations where like you can theorize, but you will never know how you're going to react until you're in that situation.
yeah,
Which is what I was trying to do. That like as I was watching that entire movie, I'm like, okay, if I was in that on that side of the room, what would I be doing instead of Adam?
mm-hmm.
And the fact that he stuck his hand in that toilet, ugh, oh my god! Like, why would you start with the toilet itself and not the back of the tank? Like,
It's fucking disgusting.
I was like, not a chance in hell would I be sticking my hand in that toilet.
So I have one gripe with this movie narratively,
Okay.
and I thought maybe it would get resolved because I couldn't remember everything about the movie, but it doesn't get resolved. So in the beginning, when they wake up in the bathroom,
Yes.
you're basically led to believe that neither of them know what the fuck is going on or know each other, right?
Correct.
So like you got Adam in one corner, you got Dr. Gordon in the other corner. Well, they really focus on Adam freaking out because that's who we start the movie with is Adam, right? And then he sees Dr. Gordon and he literally appears to not know who the fuck he is and thinks that he's the one doing this to him.
Right.
And I have a problem with that because it doesn't align with the fact that he had been following this guy, knew who he was, and was taking pictures of him.
Yeah.
Like, what? Why would you not just say, Dr. Gordon, why are you in here? Like, or I don't understand
he
why.
definitely flipped up on that shit.
Like, if you think that you're in this room and this guy appears to be with you, but you think he's not, like, why wouldn't you just say, like,
calls us out?
Yeah, like, okay, I'm sorry I was following you. Is that what this is about?
Yeah,
the pictures
literally.
I was hired to do that. Like,
yeah.
Why is it in the beginning he like what would drive you to just play dumb and act? I don't know.
Yeah, I overlooked the shit out of that. That makes so much sense though.
Yeah, it bothered me only when they do the whole reveal and it shows him following him in the parking garage, taking pictures.
Yeah.
I was like, man, he really knew who he was and just didn't
Oh yeah.
acknowledge that in the beginning at all. And you could argue like he was trying to assess the situation, whatever. But I'm like, if you
Okay.
know that you're definitely chained to the fucking wall
Yeah.
and you did not intend to be in there, and then you might suspect that this guy has something to do with it, that you've
Yeah.
been following around,
You would do everything you could to get
yeah,
out of
like
that situation.
let's tackle this head on.
Literally.
But he plays dumb the whole time, and it's just like,
Yeah.
what
Like
benefit
he
do
almost
you
died
have?
multiple times.
Yeah, like what benefit do you have of that? I don't know. So yeah, that bothered me. It doesn't fix itself. It's whatever. It's one thing. The movie's still awesome. So
It is.
but now I okay. What do you well, first of all, do you have any gripes with this movie before I tackle this?
I mean the script a little bit. Which like I said in the beginning, there's a couple kids in film school for the most part. You're not gonna have like a 5-star script.
Mm-hmm.
So for what it was good, but there's still certain things where I wouldn't have done or had them say this or that, or would have taken it in this way or that way, and in small details. Um, I think that I don't know. I don't. I mean, granted, they did a good job making you think that it could have been a few different people,
Yeah.
but I almost feel like there's certain parts that were just useless almost. Yeah, and like
Like what?
I mean, yeah, they wanted to show that the daughter was scared, but I don't know. I feel like other than it being his wife and kid, which is a big part of like what's going to drive him to either kill the dude or not, but I don't know. I feel like that was just they gave us this much, and they either should have given us this much with them, like the mom and him,
Mm-hmm.
and like the kid, or they should have just like a couple, just real brief, like this is the main point of them, and he does love them, and that's it. Like I don't know, it was just weird.
Yeah.
Me having
I
them meet in the hotel room was almost useless, but it just gave them time to like snap a couple pictures. But it didn't make sense because they didn't explain like why she brought him there.
yeah.
Unless if I missed something, I don't know. There's just like
No,
tiny things like that.
I get that. Yeah. And I think
So
again, there's stuff like that that's just done for the audience to add dramatic effect. Like
yeah.
I think the pig mask falls under that. From my research, I haven't seen any explanation. Like I
Hmm.
said, the DVD commentary they talk about a lot of elements
Right.
implemented in the movie were nightmares they had as kids. So I'm like, I could see that.
Yeah.
Um, my gripe, and I kind of want to get your, I don't know, I'll get your opinion on this. I really like Detective Tapp, like Danny Glover being the driving force investigating Jigsaw. I was just like, yes, all about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
I mean,
What? Well, what motive was there? Or I guess what motivates him to believe that Gordon is behind this?
the pen.
Because
That's it.
what? Yeah, but they fuck up in the movie because when they show that John has been Jigsaw the whole time,
Yeah.
the one flashback is when they're up in his little hideout thing
Mhm.
and he's down on his knees with his hands up and they can see his face.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it was that dude. Like, it wasn't Dr. Gordon.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true.
I don't know. unless I'm misunderstanding that flashback, but I like rewound and like, because I was like, wait a minute. So they saw his face. We just didn't see it as the audience. Because if they had revealed it in that scene, then we would have known, oh, that's the dude that was in the hospital bed.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he's the one in the bathroom. Like maybe.
Right.
So I was like, maybe they just hid it from us. But I think they saw that face. I don't know how they wouldn't have.
Yeah, they were right there.
So I'm
Unless
just
if
like,
like it was one of those things with the way the hood was laying, they only saw like this down.
yeah, I don't know. It's pretty like if you rewind like I did and you pause it, it's pretty crystal clear. Like it's an old
Oh,
man. Definitely not
they should
Doctor.
have.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, a little thing, but unfortunately, that is what the driving motive
Yeah,
is for Detective Tap. Like he's off the force.
yeah,
He loses his freaking mind. Hires this PI and freaking ends up dying because of his
yeah,
obsessiveness with this shit. And I'm just like, his motive was Dr. Gordon killed his partner.
yeah. That's dumb.
I don't know. It just doesn't really work for me. He
I
seemed
agree.
more solid headed than that.
Yeah,
Like, okay, you got your throat slit. You're just crazy now. Like it just doesn't work for me. It
it.
really doesn't work for me.
Yeah,
So those two nitpicks are definitely why this movie isn't honestly a 5, because I honestly think this movie is like for what it is,
yeah.
how it was done, it's perfect.
Well,
I wouldn't change much about it.
no. There were some things that bothered me, and I get why they did it. But like from a tactical standpoint,
Yeah, I knew.
first of all, obviously this dude is like he's classified as a serial killer at that point. Why in the fuck are you walking up to him
Yeah.
when your partner is trying to get the dude out of the thing, or at least stop it from killing him? Why are you getting close enough to where all he has to do is go like this and slash your throat? Like that's terrible police work.
Mm-hmm.
And then your partner's going after him, and this dude's into like these massive like puzzle trap, psycho trap shit. Why are you just running through there, not expecting a booby trap? From the start of like, as soon as they went there, I was like, all right, watch out for booby traps. And I didn't
Yeah.
expect it, or I didn't know like when to expect it, but I knew that place was going to be booby trapped. And I'm like, neither one of them had any thought. Like, and I guess you could blame it on adrenaline. And like when he ran after him, all he was thinking was like, you just killed my partner and I'm going to get you. But like, really? Like,
Yeah.
that's just
No, I have a
sloppy.
problem with a lot of that, honestly, but one thing I do want to highlight, I love the miniature scale model of the bathroom. Like it
Yes.
shows that he really like
Planned it
he
out.
visualizes
Yes.
this game that he's building.
Yeah. No, that was
So
really cool to see.
that was cool when he pulls that curtain back and you see that. It's just like, oh,
That
that's
actually made it more creepy because it was
oh
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
shit, he's putting thought into this. Like he's observing it ahead of time, the space that's going to be in. He's going there, he's watching it, and then he's planning literally every tiny detail out. It's just really smart.
yeah. No, it is.
It's amazing. That was really cool to see.
Well, Dima, we got 40 seconds left. Is there
Yes, we do.
anything you want to highlight or talk about really quick?
Yeah, I mean, this movie just, I mean, with us getting into the film side of things, like especially with Mary DeCrow and that release, and then JJ Sundry for next year, it's really cool to see.
Quick
Like,
plug.
yeah, it's really cool to see like these dudes did this with like no budget, and
Mm,
now it is what it is. So it's really like motivational
yeah,
for young film uh, uh,
makers.
yeah, filmmakers. Thank you, and small production company. Like it's just one of those things. It's really cool to see. Very motivational. So.
Yeah, no, and inspiring too, because like Mary DeCrow, again, we've talked about this. We thought we knew what we were doing going into it, and it was like a learning experience. And people are going to see that because JJ Sundry is going to look better. It's going to sound better.
Yeah.
It's a full movie, so we got more time to play with things, tell more story,
Mm-hmm.
build on characters, and there's just things that you and I both know are going to be better from a tactical standpoint, like the way we're going to be filming and whatnot. So yeah, I'm excited for all that. But anyways, yeah, it's cool to see that they went into this. They wrote the script in 2001. It was meant to go straight to DVD. They did screenings for studios. It tested well. So they're like, we'll do a theatrical release, but you ain't getting money.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay. And then it fucking blew up into this multi-million-dollar franchise. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's funny because some movies aren't as good as others, but either way, it's cool that this one little indie film turned into this giant franchise. So, and you feel like it can go forever because, like you said, it's like anyone could be Jigsaw, anyone could start this whole thing. So, yeah, so it'll be cool to talk about these movies down the road. I think next Wednesday we'll do a different movie, a part of another franchise, whether it's Halloween, Friday the 13th, who knows?
Terrifier.
Or maybe an A24 movie.
Ooh. Yeah, I got one I'm wanting to do.
Hereditary.
Oh, it's not the one I was thinking.
Yeah, but there's a lot we could definitely pull from. So, all right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Incredulous Account, for your commentary and questions. We appreciate you. Absolutely. And anyone else that tuned in, we saw some other people popping in here and there, so we appreciate you. This Saturday we will have an episode, and like I said, next Wednesday we'll be back for another live stream with another horror movie, working our way up to Halloween. So until then, you guys have a good week. We'll see you next time.
Spooky dookie.
Spooky.